Hello, Dr. Vicki Peterson here. I wanted to speak with you today about inflammation. Why? Inflammation is something that naturally happens in the body that you really want to have happen when it doesn't last long. So in other words, if you cut yourself and you notice it gets kind of red around that cut, but then you don't have to do too much to kind of an average cut. It just heals and you don't really worry about it. Well, that redness and can be called inflammation. You think of the word inflammation, it has flame in the middle of it. So you can think of it as that redness, that hotness, that fire. So that should happen, but then it should stop. So use an analogy like you're in the woods and you've lit a fire for yourself. It's good, right? It happens for a short period of time. It keeps you warm or cooks you dinner, but then you make sure you put it out, right, before you go to sleep and before you leave the campsite. Why? So you don't start a forest fire. Well, inflammation in the body is much the same way. When it happens acutely, so it happens and it stops, and it happens and it stops, that's good. It's killing bacteria, it's killing a cancer cell, it's dealing with something toxic, The fire goes up, it does its work, and then it goes back down again, it stops, and that's what you want. Our problem in this country is chronic inflammation. The inflammation goes on and on and on, and what that causes, we now understand, is disease. So if you were looking at a little continuum between optimal health and disease, that middle area would be greater and greater inflammation. If you were to go online to the PubMed system and type in inflammation, you would get hundreds of thousands of scientific research articles. If you had a favorite organ that you wanted to look at and you typed in inflammation in liver, you'd get tens of thousands of articles. We understand, the research community understands that inflammation is a big bad guy. That's all very well and good, but what are we doing about it? One of the biggest things that we need to do about it, because we want to prevent worsening obesity and worsening heart disease and worsening diabetes and cancer and autoimmune disease. The big killers in our country are degenerative disease, and that is coming from inflammation. The exciting thing is we can do something about it. Personal story, my dad passed away at 91, but when he was in his 60s, he was told that he really needed to do something because he was on the verge of having a heart attack. He listened to some of my advice at that point. Again, in his 70s, he was told that his kidneys were not doing so well, and if he didn't watch it, he was going to be on dialysis. Totally brought him back from that. His kidneys fared very, very well until the very end of his life. So what did we do? We changed a lot in his diet and his lifestyle. I remember one time telling him he'd had enough steak to last a lifetime as I reduced his red meat in his diet. But recently, one of my employees actually was talking to me about how great she felt. She's a woman in her mid-50s, and she had had a lot of chronic pain, back pain and neck pain, joint pain, that she didn't think too much about. She had tried to resolve it unsuccessfully. She was chronically constipated. She wasn't overweight as far as the scale is concerned, maybe a little bit over fat percentage-wise, but certainly not overweight. And she had a number of different things bothering her. Energy level, needing coffee. How many of us fall into that category? Not me for sure, but as far as Americans are concerned, needing caffeine, being tired, having pains and aches, not sleeping well, having some sort of digestive complaint. Really common, right? Well, she's been on our program for a little while. She's doing fabulous and really making such great changes dietarily. And she said, I haven't even done my exercises the way I'm supposed to, and I don't have any pain. My pain is gone. I'm sleeping great. I don't have any constipation. She's lost weight visibly. She looks fabulous. And these changes, and she's just like, I can't believe how great I feel, And we see this all the time. And what was that? I mean, did she have a disease? No, not yet. Was she probably headed that way? Definitely. What did we bring her back from the brink of? Was it diabetes? Was it heart disease? It doesn't really matter ultimately. The fact is you brought her back from the brink, because And here's the thing I want you to understand is that this inflammation, it's normal that it turns on. It's not normal that it stays on. So there's a number of things that we need to discuss with that. What are some of the common reasons for inflammation to stay on? Well, what we put in our mouths is a big one. So having food sensitivities like gluten and dairy, or food allergies, or just eating the standard American diet, which is not very healthy. What is it? It's loaded with chemicals and pesticides and GMO and all sorts of non-food type items. These do nothing for us health-wise, but they do a lot to persist and continue inflammation. Bad fats like omega-6s in pre-prepared, pre-packaged foods, fast food. I have a long list here. The chemicals and preservatives, obviously, in our food, toxins that we're exposed to, drugs we're exposed to. Now, let me stop right there if you're starting to go, oh, she's just getting on this long list, and it doesn't matter what I do, that means, because those are everywhere. Not really, not really. You can definitely improve your diet in ways that will make massive changes in whether you're pro-inflammatory or anti-inflammatory. So a lot of sugar. What else is on my list here? Infections. This is something we see a lot of. You've probably heard me talk about it under the secondary effects of gluten, sort of like hidden infections. A sedentary lifestyle, that's a big one that you can definitely do something about, right? So before I go into those a little bit more, I want to talk to you about there's actually a part of your body that makes anti-inflammatories. So that's pretty cool because you can have inflammation going, but then if you have enough natural anti-inflammatories to kind of put that flame out, then we're in business, right? So we want that part of the body to be functioning very well. Now, there's certainly dietary things that you can do that are anti-inflammatory. I'm going to come back to that. But your adrenal glands, they're your stress gland, they actually make natural anti-inflammatories. So this is very key. So you go, okay, so I want happy stress glands, so they're making enough natural anti-inflammatories. What keeps them happy? Believe it or not, nice stable blood sugar. So eating a good diet keeps your adrenal glands really stable and happy, in addition to not having obscene amounts of stress, and I know that can be a little easier said than done, but mostly the adrenal glands, if you're getting good exercise during the day, good sleep at night, and you eat a very good diet, those adrenal glands can be pretty darn happy for you and really buffer you up in that anti-inflammatory sense. Dietarily, organic fruits and vegetables, those lovely dark green vegetables that we talk about, the dark green leafies, and the fruits like the berries that are very high in antioxidants, these are naturally anti-inflammatory. Getting your omega-3 fatty acids and your omega-9 fatty acids, olive oil, fish oil, chia seeds, flax seeds, these are nice things to eat that are very, very good for you and make a huge difference in your inflammatory load. Inflammation can get to a point where you can definitely see it on a blood test. There's C-reactive protein, there's ferritin, there are things that you can see that are starting to increase and creep up that show increasing amounts of inflammation. But you can feel it also. When you're not inflamed, you feel a lot younger and a lot happier and a lot healthier. And this inflammation affects hormones, so how you feel mentally and brain acuity and whether you have brain fog, etc. So this is a big topic, and these videos are supposed to be short, and I could speak for days. But I realized it's a topic I haven't really touched on, so maybe we'll do some follow-ups and get a little deeper into it. But I just really wanted to bring this topic up to you and kind of open up some discussion and, you know, see where we can go and what steps we can make and put together some programs to really lead you down that anti-inflammatory trail so you can move away from inflammation and away from chronic disease. So I hope you found this informative. Please let me know. And until next time, I wish you very good health.